Welcome to Really Fun Math with Miss Colvang. Okay guys, so this is the second video for Solving Equations Review. It's part 2, so if you have not watched the first video, my suggestion is to go back and watch that. That was last week's assignment. It goes over some of the more entry-level problems, and then today's video goes over some of the more challenging ones. So again, Solving Equations Review, part 2. The plan for today is to complete the video lesson taking notes on a piece of paper. As usual, please try and pause the video anytime you see a problem you think you can do on your own, just to see if you are sort of following the correct steps. And then as usual, post a pic for the Family Fun Challenge. I have posted a new link on that, so if you have a video or a photo, you are able to post both of those. Objectives for today's lesson are actually the same as last week. So I can isolate a variable using inverse operations. I don't know why that says am. I can isolate. I'll change it. I can solve one-step and two-step equations, and I can solve equations with like terms and or distribution. Last week it was just like terms or distribution, and this week you might have to do both of those. So basically, I'm just going to come at you with a bunch of problems. As usual, on the right side, I have all of the different steps that you should consider, and basically, if it's like a level 1 problem, it's going to start down here. This might be like a level 2 problem, level 3, level 4, you know. So it's starting with difficulty, or based on the difficulty, you might have to go through more of the steps than if it's just a one-step equation. But this is actually just a one-step equation. There's one thing happening to n right now. Currently, n is having 8 subtracted from it, and the only thing we're going to have to do is isolate the variable by using inverse operations. So one thing that students have been trying is putting a line through the equal sign. It's a really great idea. And then you can kind of see like, okay, here's the left side, here's the right side. I have to keep them balanced. So right now I have n minus 8. To get n all alone, I have to do the inverse operation of subtraction. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Meaning on the left side I have n equals, and then on the right side, you know, think about this for a second. You have negative 19, so you're like $19 in debt, and then somebody is giving you $8. That means that you're going to have less debt than you had before, and your debt's going to go from $19 of debt to only $11 of debt, which is negative 11. I also have on my calendar some different calculators you guys can use if we're still struggling with integer operations, or you can put them on a number line to help you. So the answer is n equals negative 11. The next example is another one-stepper, so I suggest that you stop the video right now, try to do this problem on your own, and then go through and do it with me. Okay, so again, it's only got one level, so we're going to be looking at the last step, which is isolate with inverse operations, and I want to get n all alone. Right now, n is being divided by 7. I know that because there's that fraction bar there, and a fraction bar is a different way of writing division. So the way I'm going to undo division on both sides is I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. Now, don't be overwhelmed by this right here, because again, they're inverse operations. So the whole goal of that move is just to leave you with the variable n. Then you simplify the right side. Negative 1 times 7 gives me negative 7. The other thing that you can keep in mind is you're always welcome to check these by plugging your answer back in. So if I'm plugging in n as negative 7, I would have the equation negative 7 divided by 7 equals negative 1. Negative 7 divided by 7 does equal negative 1, so we did it correctly. So what's nice is anytime you're solving equations on a quiz or a test, you should be able to check them all and feel confident about how you did. Now we're going to start doing problems that are a little bit harder. So these are going to be level 2 problems, level 3 problems, level 4 problems. And what I want to practice with you is really looking at the problem and saying, okay, where do I start? What do I know? Because so many times I give you a problem like this and you freak out. It's like, oh no, I can't handle it. But really, if you can just stop and think, what do I see? What's going on with this problem? You can probably at least get 1 or 2 steps done. Okay, which is much better than leaving it blank. And honestly, you can probably do the whole problem and you'll feel like a rock star. So if I look at this example, first thing I'm going to do is look at my list, okay? It looks hard, right? Looks complicated. So let's start at the top of my list. Do I have distribution? No. And the way we know that is because there's no parentheses. Party, that's exciting. Can I combine like terms? Here's how you want to look at that. If you have a line through your equal sign, and you look at the left side of your equal sign, so ignore everything on the right, can negative 14 be simplified in any way? No, it can't. So he's going to hang out. Look at the right side. I have k minus 5 plus 2k. All right, so you have a couple options with this. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this so that my like terms are together. So I have k and 2k. Instead of writing it as k minus 5 plus 2k, let's write it as k plus 2k minus 5. What's nice about that is it puts the variables together, but it doesn't change the value of the right side at all. And then what you can notice is, okay, shoot, I have 1k and 2k, and they're being added together. So I can actually rewrite that as 3k minus 5. So yes, I did have to combine like terms. And that's how you do it. Okay, again, anytime I use this little bracket is combining like terms in my notation. Then it says move variables to one side. So you want to zoom your brain into the variables. Okay. And if we notice, I only have k's on the right side. So I have completed that. I'm good. Okay, and then isolate with inverse operations. So now pretend like this is a problem from the beginning of the year. Okay, I'm going to add 5 to both sides, because that's how I undo subtraction. We want to move the constant first. Negative 14 plus 5, that might be a calculator problem, gives you negative 9. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Negative 9 divided by 3 gives me k equals negative 3. And there we go. Okay, so again, lots of steps, but if you go through and you can think to yourself, hey, what do I have? What do I need to do? What are my options? Then you're definitely going to be able to get through the problem. It just takes a little bit of perseverance. Oops, sorry. So 2 more problems. Again, this one, I look at it and I'm like, oh man, that's pretty hard. So we're going to start at the top of our options. I'm going to start up here and say, hey, do I have distribution? OMG, I do. I know I have distribution because of the parentheses, so I can distribute that too. Distribution means you take everything in the parentheses, each term, and you multiply it by 2. So in my brain, I say, okay, what's 2 times 1? 2. The minus is just going to come on down. 2 times 5r gives me 10r. Okay, so 2 minus 10r equals 62. Okay, I was breaking the rules a little bit and didn't put that line in there. There we go, nice and straight, okay. No like terms, okay, because I can't simplify anything on the right. I can't simplify anything on the left, so I've done that. Move variables to one side. Oh my gosh, all my r's are on the left already, so I don't need to worry about that. Isolate with inverse operations. So now it's literally just become a problem like we've seen before. I have this 2 hanging out in front. Remember, if it doesn't have a variable in front of it, it's like an imaginary addition sign or an imaginary positive, okay? So the way I get rid of positive 2 is I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. That makes this all really neat and fancy because negative 10r equals 60. Okay, that's beautiful because I know the r is going to be an even number. Now I just have to isolate r by undoing multiplication of negative 10. So I get that r equals 60 divided by negative 10 gives me negative 6. Again, calculator can help you, or we can practice our mental math. Last example, we're going to call this a challenge example, okay? This is a hard one because you have to do a lot in this problem. And this is like the goal. If you can complete this, pat yourself on the back, okay? You have to distribute. You have to combine like terms, okay? You have to isolate with inverse operations. I don't think I'm giving any of you ones on this, at least this week, where where you have to move variables to one side, but that is something that I will include in the future. So the first thing I do is I'm like, whoa, this is a hard one. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start at the top of my list and see if I have distribution. I do have distribution because parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to distribute that 5 out. And again, we're just copying everything else down. We're dealing with one problem at a time. Okay, so we're going to leave everything else alone. We're going to get rid of the parentheses. So 5 times 4k is 20k. 5 times 1 is 5. So I get 20k plus 5 minus 2k. Then you're like, great, we did distribution. Okay, do I have any like terms? Yes, we do. How do I know? Well, if I looked at the left side, 113, can I simplify? No, sir. If I look at the right side, can I simplify? I have 20k plus 5 minus 2k. This is an optional step. It does help you see. If I were to rewrite this as 20k minus 2k plus 5, ooh, there we go. Do you see that we have like terms now? 20k minus 2k. So then I'm going to combine like terms, okay? All we're doing, guys, is we're rewriting it in a nicer, simpler, easier to understand way every single time until we can get to the answer. So I have 113 equals 18k plus 5. Now it's a two-stepper like we've solved a million times. 2 steps, that's all you got to do. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. We always move that constant away from the variable. I get 108 equals 18k. And then I'm going to pull out a handy dandy calculator because even my mental math is a little bit slow. Okay, there we go. Divide both sides by 18. And I get that k equals 6. So that is the solution to that problem. Again, that is a challenge problem, but you're going to see problems like that in Algebra 1. So don't, freak out and be afraid of them. Attempt it, and if you make a little mistake, then you can fix it later. So, well, let's see. Family Fun Challenge. Okay, pick someone at your house and add a picture or video of you explaining the following math problem to them. Share it in the comment section below. I will post the answers on Wednesday. I think what I'm going to start doing is post the answers at the top of the Padlet so that you guys can check them on there. The goal is to solve the following equation by isolating x. Okay, so make somebody in your family help you, see if they know how to solve equations, and let's see some videos or pictures. And then last but not least, look over these objectives. Again, how I did not notice this typo. Oh, lame. But the objectives are I can isolate a variable using inverse operations. I can solve one-step and two-step equations. And I can solve equations with like terms and or distribution. So think to yourself, can I do all of those confidently? If not, that's fine, but what are areas that you need to work on? And if you really want extra practice, reach out to me and I can give you extra resources. So, as usual, stay safe, be good, and I'll see you guys later.